Hello, am I audible? Okay. Okay, let's wait for everyone to join and then we shall start the lecture at 10:45. Okay, I suppose that everyone has joined the meeting. I hope that I am audible to everyone and there is no background disturbance. Uh, is the voice clear to everyone? Okay, fine. Wait a minute. So I'll be sharing a link to you. That is a Google form link where you have to fill your roll numbers. So I'm sharing that link in the chat box. So you have to fill your roll number. So it will be your attendance for this lecture. So everyone has to fill this form. Okay, fine. Let me start with the lecture. So good morning, everyone. Today is with C. With C, you have to fill with C. You have to write your entire number. That is CE052. What is your number? Whatever your number is, that you have to write entirely. Right? All right. Okay. Good morning, everyone. So today is your first lecture of machine learning. I suppose that you are one of the lecture has already been taken by sir. Today in today's lecture, we'll be discussing further about the introduction of machine learning. So I think you have understood what is learning. So let us start the session with a question. So tell me, what did you study so far about machine learning? What is that you have studied so far about machine learning? Anyone? Anyone? Given data and yes, my person. Okay, yes, Harsh. All right, that is not a problem, not an issue. Based on previous data. Okay, right. Okay. Yes, Renil and Preet and Keval. Yes, and Sahil also. Yes. So so far we have studied that machine learning is a way to teach your machine to act in a manner similar to your brain. For example, it is first part of machine learning is to teach the machine, right? So learning is what is learning? Learning is a process to improve your performance with experience, right? So in machine learning will be based on data. The entire machine learning models will be based on data, where you'll be passing data into the machine. The model will be trained on that data, and then model later on will test on unknown data. So entire thing about machine learning will be based on the data that you pass. So the entire data set will be in training, testing, and validation part, right? So that will come to later on. First, today in today's lecture, we'll get a brief about various types of learnings that are present in machine learning. So let me share the screen now. Okay, is the screen visible to you? Yes. Okay. Fine. Uh, so so uh, Okay, fine. So there are total in machine learning types. There are four total types. That is mainly we will be studying in this today's lecture will be supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised, and reinforcement learning. Okay. So first of all, let us get an idea that what is supervised learning. Just a minute. So first part is actually the supervised learning, right? So supervised learning is a learning part in which you will be given data as well as label to the machine. For example, these are your data. Every machine learning data will contain of certain instances. These instances will be formed using features. Okay, instances will be formed using features. So what are these features? For example, if you are doing a classification problem, for example, you consider this classification problem to be classify the data into spam or non-spam data. Okay, consider this as an example. So your data will contain certain features. For example, spam will contain certain features, non-spam data will contain certain features. So this will form your data set from xn to xn, x1 to xn. This will be your features of the data set, and each of the rows will be your instances. For example, instance 1, instance 2, instance 3 up to instance n. And all this data set will have certain labels. For example, the spam data set I am giving label as 0, and non-spam data I am giving label as 1. So each instance will have a label associated with it, that this instance is actually an example of spam, this instance is an example of non-spam, and so on. So what is your supervised learning algorithm? Supervised learning algorithm will contain a data set where you will be passing data as well as labels. Data plus label you will be passing into the machine, and you will train the machine accordingly. And the output will, the supervised machine algorithm will contain two types of algorithms, that is classification algorithms and regression. So both, what is the difference between classification and regression is, in classification the output, that is the y value that you get, is actually discrete valued. What is discrete valued? Means discrete value means, for example, spam classification is there, then the output will be 0 or 1. Okay, similarly if you are classifying into dog, cat, or any other hen, these are the three classes that you are classifying your data in, then 0 1 2, or anything, or it may be dog, cat, and hen also. And continuous valued output means the output will have certain continuous values. For example, you are trying to predict the price of a car. Price of a car is actually a continuous valued problem. Similarly, if you are trying to predict tomorrow's temperature is a continuous valued problem. Okay, can you come up with any other example of this classification and regression? So in classification, the output will be discrete valued, and the regression, the output will be continuous valued output. So classification, we are mainly trying to classify our data into certain set of classes, and in regression, we are trying to find out, we are trying to predict the value of the output, right? For example, we'll be given certain data. For example, mileage of a car is given, and you are asked to predict the price of the car based on the mileage. So you'll be creating a machine learning algorithm where you'll be passing the data which contains already set data, which will contain the mileage information as well as price information. And based on that, you will predict the price of unknown mileage that you will pass, that is the test mileage that you will pass, you will try to predict the price. Okay, is it clear to everyone? Hello, is this point clear to everyone? What is supervised learning? Yes? Okay, let me erase this. Shall I erase this now? I, okay. So if you have any question, you may unmute yourself and ask. And if you may also give any suggestions. For example, if you feel that this lecture I am giving, speaking very fast, you may also say that any review is welcome. So if you have any issues, you may unmute yourself, or you may write in the chat box whatever your issue you are facing in understanding the concept or anything else regarding the lecture. Okay, is it clear? Okay. All right. So this was your first part, that is supervised learning. Okay, we studied is supervised learning so far, where you'll be given a data set with features as well as target values. Target values will be given to data. Target values along with the features will be passed into the machine, and the machine will pass into the machine, and it will be passed to a learning algorithm. That learning algorithm can be anything. For example, if that is a classification problem, then the learning algorithm can be SVM, can be logistic regression, or anything else. For example, decision tree classifier. Okay, anything of that. And if the learning problem is of regression, then it is linear regression. You can pass a linear regression algorithm in it, and this will create a model. So model will be created on the previous data, and this model can now be used to predict the values for unknown data, that is test data that you will be passing to the machine, and unknown data you will try to predict the value. Okay. Okay, this is how your machine learning algorithm will be created. Okay, now we are turning to unsupervised learning. The second part of this is, first was supervised learning. Now we'll be studying about unsupervised learning. Just a minute. Okay. Um, So the next part is actually unsupervised learning. So what is the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning? Here only will be passing data and no label will be passed to the machine. Only the data will be passed and no label will be passed. So what will happen? How will the machine try to understand that how to classify the data? For example, you will be passing certain sets of data into the machine. Okay. For example, you will be passing a classification data. Okay, then the machine will try to create clusters out of the data. That will be part of, that is actually unsupervised learning. So you will be passing what? You will be passing certain features of the data, that is instances. The whole entire training data set you will pass. Okay, instance 1, instance 2, up to instance n you will pass into the machine. And what will the machine will try to create, try to create similarity between data. Okay, try to identify the similarity between the different data points. For example, you are trying to create a machine of dog and cat. You are trying to do unsupervised learning of this. So what will happen, it will try to find similar features of dog and it will create a cluster of this. Okay, the cluster of dog, similarly it will create a cluster of cat based on similarity between the data. Okay, is it clear? So this is the unsupervised learning, where unsupervised learning you won't be passing the label won't be passed into the machine will try to create similarity between the data and will do the clustering of the data based on the group. For example, unsupervised example of an unsupervised learning may be Facebook. Okay, Facebook, what happens Facebook, for example, you have certain friends and based on that it will give you suggestions of different friends, right? It gives you suggestions. Similarly, other part of unsupervised learning that will be so this is the main part, that is clustering is one of the part of unsupervised learning. Other three parts are present in unsupervised learning. First is dimensionality reduction. So anyone has any idea of dimensionality reduction? What can be dimensionality reduction? Can anybody state me through the naming convention that what could be in it? Anyone? Combining two features into one. Okay. Anyone else? Anybody else wants to try? Yes, reducing multidimensional features to less dimensional features. So what will happen in dimensionality reduction is, dimensionality reduction is actually you will study for when you study, after you study some of the algorithms. There will be an algorithm called PCA, which is a dimensionality reduction algorithm. What will happen in dimensionality reduction is you will reduce the number of dimensions of the features. Okay, whatever data you have. For example, you have 100 dimensional data. Okay, wait a minute. For example, you have 100 dimensional, for example, you have 100 dimensional data and you want to reduce the dimension of this feature, dimension of this model, dimension of this data. So you can create certain correlation between data. For example, there is a feature x1, x2, x3. So you will, for example, x3 is equal to 2x2. So these are correlated data. So we do not need such data which is correlated to each other. So we can reduce the number of dimension. For example, x3 can be removed since it is 2 times x2 only. So you can reduce such dimension. So it will be a part of, yes, principal component analysis, PCA. So you can reduce the dimension using dimensionality reduction algorithms. Okay. Then the next part that comes in unsupervised learning is association rule mining. Association rule mining is what? Is creating associativity between data. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. For example, if you if you go to the market, then there is for example, if you go to the market, then they have arranged the items in such a way that two of the items which are most likely to be bought together are kept in adjacent places. For example, if somebody is buying milk, then he is likely to buy curd. Okay, if somebody is buying bread, then he is likely to buy butter. Okay, so these are some of the things that are kept adjacent to each other. So this is actually market basket analysis also, or this is associativity rule generation. It is trying to identify that what items can be bought together. So these all things can be created using unsupervised learning algorithms. Okay. Then the last part is anomaly detection. Anomaly detection. For what is anomaly detection is detecting the outliers. For example, if you have a data set, these are some data xxx. If you have in hypothesis space, this space is called the hypothesis space, and this hypothesis space you have certain data, and it is possible that some of the data is an outlier data. For example, this data, it is a star data, so you can easily detect the outlier with the help of unsupervised learning. Okay, similarly, if you have a market, you are trying to predict the price of the material, so most of the material is having this graph, and so suddenly there is an increase in the graph. So this you can also detect using unsupervised learning. So this is actually anomaly detection. Okay, anomaly, you know that whatever is outlier, whatever is not according to the normal behavior of the machine. Okay, yes, is it clear to about the unsupervised learning? Everyone is clear about unsupervised learning? Any doubts? Hello? Is anybody having any doubt? Hello? Okay, anomaly detection again. Yes, I can explain again. So what did I say about anomaly detection? You know about anomaly. What is anomaly? Means machine has certain set of behavior. Okay, if it is behaving differently than the normal behavior. For example, there is certain set of data in the hypothesis space. This is actually called the hypothesis space. Okay, there is a certain set of data, and if you have any new data set which is different from the present data set, then this is an anomaly, right? Outlier of the data. Are you getting the outlier of the data? Similarly, if the market is usually having this graph, and suddenly there is an increase in the graph, then this actually is the anomaly, right? So this you can predict, this you can identify using unsupervised learnings. Unsupervised learning can help you identify anomaly in your machine. Okay, is it clear now? Okay, fine. Okay, everyone is clear with this. So shall I proceed with the next part, that is semi supervised learning? Okay, so the third part of your machine learning algorithms, third part of algorithms which you will have, third part of learning is a semi supervised learning. So what is semi supervised learning? So what happens in supervised learning is you have data as well as labels. Okay, you have data as well as labels, and in unsupervised learning you do not have labels. No labels are associated with data, only you have data. Okay, that is features, all the raw features that you have of data. So in order to form these labels, human effort is there. Okay, somebody is sitting there and trying to create the labels. So instead of, for example, if you have a small set of data, then you can easily create labels for the data. But if you have very large number of data, then it will demand a lot of human effort to create labels for all the data set. So what you can do, you can pass in the machine, what you can do, you can pass in the machine some labeled data set and some unlabeled data set, and create a machine learning algorithm through this. For example, if you create for example, the easiest example that you can relate to this is Google Photos. You know of Google Photos? For example, in Google Photos, what happens, you are asked based on a face of a person, you are asked that who this person is, and if you identify that person as mother, for example, you are giving the label that this is the photo of my mother, then what happens, automatically the photos that are similar to this photo are classified into this label, right? This is actually semi supervised learning, where in machine you are passing some labeled data, and you are trying to create labels for unlabeled data. So you do not need to do the human effort will be removed, and you can easily create the machine learning algorithm through this. Another example could be text classification. which is also an example of this semi-supervised learning, where you'll be passing some label data and rest of the data will be classified, will be clustered based on this label. Is it clear? This is clear. This semi-supervised learning is clear to everyone. Hello, is this idea clear? So you can easily relate to the Google Photos. Similarly, you have GPS system also, where you can pass certain lane area values, and then you can identify the rest using grouping. You can group them based on the similarity of the items, right? So this is actually semi-supervised. Yeah, you'll be supervised plus unsupervised. You will be passing certain data which has labels, and you will be identifying the labels for the rest of the data using unsupervised learning, right? Is it clear to everyone? Yes, hello. Is it clear to everyone? Shall I proceed with the next part? Okay. So the last part that you have is reinforcement learning. Okay, the reinforcement learning is a type of learning where you will be having no data at all. No data will be given to the machine. So let us see what is reinforcement learning. So I'll like to explain this through a diagram that I have fetched from the internet. So which will be easy for you to understand through this. So see this example. This reinforcement learning will involve both agent as well as environment. Okay. So consider this agent. You have an agent given to you, and this agent is present in a certain environment. Okay. There is no data given to the agent. Agent will create the data based on certain rewards that the agent gets. So for example, the agent has in the environment fire as well as water. Okay, fire as well as water is given to the agent, and if the agent goes near fire, then a negative reward is given to the agent. So the agent will identify, okay, going near the fire is not a good idea, so next time onwards it will not go near the fire. Similarly, if the agent goes near water, and then positive reward is given to the agent. So the agent will identify, okay, going near water is a good idea, so it will go near the water. So it will create its learning, it's create its data using this environment and the rewards that is being provided to the agent. Okay, is it clear to everyone? For example, if you take your example itself, then if you when you were a child, you can identify that going near the hot water, you might have touched it once and you have burned your fingers. So next time onwards, you are being more careful that you are not going to touch this hot water again. You are going to make certain learnings, that is touching it with a cloth or something like that. Okay, so based on the reward system, it will try to learn, the machine will try to learn this activity. Okay, so in reinforcement learning, no data will be provided, it will create its data using the reward system that is being provided, certain set of rewards the user has created, and based on that the machine will understand, say, okay, what reward or penalty is given, so it will do accordingly. Yes, is it clear to everyone? Reinforcement learning, is the idea about reinforcement learning clear? Yes. Okay. So this was reinforcement learning. These were the four types of learning that you have. That is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised, and reinforcement learning. So in reinforcement learning, you have an example that is given to you. Let me go to the example. So two of the example that is given to you is, first is driverless car, and the second one is optimized marketing. So can anybody explain what is driverless? You can easily understand driverless car, right? So in driverless car, what will happen? Can anybody anybody wants to give any insight in this or both the examples? Anyone? Yes, yes. When it crashes, it is given negative reward, and so it will learn through that, right? Anyone about optimized marketing? Yes, drive on left side only. Okay. Yes, right. Anyone about the optimized marketing? What do you think is optimized marketing? Yes, recommending a car to a beggar, he would not buy it. Okay, yeah. Maximize the profit based on the reward. Yes, good. Everyone, whosoever has answered, good effort. You have understood the concept that what is reinforcement learning. Okay, I hope that everyone others have also understood what is reinforcement learning. Yes. So shall we proceed with the next part? Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, so far what we have studied is we have studied that what is machine learning, what is machine learning. So, and we have understood the types of learning in machine learning, the types of learning. Okay, there are four types of learning that we have understood. So, in what is machine learning? Machine learning in terms of task, experience, and performance. Have you understood this and performance? So, basically, what is learning? Learning is a process to improve one's performance through experience. Okay, that is what learning is all about. So machine learning is can be termed as something. Machine learning is actually a task which is try to improve its performance through all the experience that it gets. Okay, it is try to improve the performance. For example, if you are doing a spam versus non-spam classification, then what will be your task? The task will be to correctly classify the data. Classify the data, that will be your task. What will be the performance metrics? Performance will be the calculation, that performance will be your accuracy. For example, there is a performance matrix. There are different performance metrics for classification. For example, accuracy is there, then there is precision, recall, and an F1 score. Okay, there are such performance metrics which is trying to identify the accuracy of the machine. What is the accuracy of the machine? That how accurate is it in classifying the testing data, right? For example, if you give certain set of data set to the machine and you are trying to predict the value y, this is the y predicted value, y hat I am saying, and y is actual label to that data, and you are trying to identify that how much is the predicted label equals to the actual label. That is how you will find the accuracy of the model. Okay, and what will be the experience to the machine? Experience that you will pass, experience will be your the ground truth data that you have, that is the training data set that you are passing, that will be your experience. And so with the help of the experience, it will try to improve the performance, and in while doing the improving the performance, it will try to calculate various metrics of the metrics, and it will try to improve. For example, if it is calculating that the accuracy is below 50%, okay, accuracy of the machine learning algorithm is below 50%, then it may try to change certain parameters of the machine learning algorithm and try to improve the performance metrics. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, so we have understood what is machine learning and we have understood the types of learning. So now what we'll do, we'll try to understand what is classification and what is regression. So in this part, in this first sessional part, we'll be dealing with classification algorithm and regression algorithm. So in regression algorithm, we'll deal with linear regression. I think we'll start with linear regression from the next lecture onwards, after we finish what is classification. And in classification algorithm, we'll be dealing with different classification algorithm, that is decision tree, then there is naive Bayes, um, then Bayesian network, and we have SVM and logistic regression. Okay, these are some of the classification algorithms that we'll deal with in the lecture. Okay, is it clear? So now can you try to identify what is the difference between classification and regression? I already explained in the classroom. So tell me about what is classification and what is regression. Yes. Predict discrete value. Discrete value is in which one? Yes, yes. Okay. In classification algorithm, what we have, I have added a classification algorithm, some common element. What Yes, common element amongst the data, right? That is what you're saying. Okay, fine. So before we proceed with classification algorithm, let us have a look at the schematic diagram of supervised learning, right? As you have studied, what is supervised learning? That is, you are providing the data input as well as you are providing the labels to the machine. So the machine, so this data will pass into the learning algorithm. Okay, this data will pass into learning algorithm, which will be your classification algorithm, or it can be your regression algorithm, and this will create a model. So the model will be formed based on the data. So machine learning algorithm is entirely based on data set that you are passing. So this data will create a model, and then you are passing certain input into the model, and it is going to predict the output for you based on the model that you have created. So if the model has been trained to classify cat and dog, then if you are passing a new data, it will try to identify whether these features that you are passing into the machine is similar to the features of cat, then it will classify the data into cat, and if it is near to the dog's features, then it will classify it into dog, right? So your data set entirely will be okay, wait a minute. First, I'll tell you certain terms related to the data. So the data will be entirely divided into three parts. Okay, training data, testing data, and validation data. Okay. So if you find any difficulty in understanding what I am saying through this, then you may ask. Okay. So what is training data? Training data is the data already ground truth data. Okay, ground truth data that we are passing into the machine, that it is trying to this, so it will contain labels as well as data into the machine, and this will be passed into the machine to create a model. Okay, so for example, if you have spam and non-spam classifier, spam and non-spam classifier, then this data will be that set of data which contains spam emails as well as non-spam emails. So it will so the machine will try to learn that okay, spam emails will contain these features and non-spam emails will contain these features. And so whenever you are passing a new data, that is testing data will be your new data that you are passing, it will try to predict the values, that is output values for this data. Okay, now what is validation data? So validation data is mainly for improving the performance of a machine. Okay, so whenever you are training the machine, at that time you are performing the validation as well, that is you are checking what is the performance of my model on this data. For example, if the performance of the model is less than 50%, okay, for example the accuracy is less than 50%, then what you will do, you will try to improve your machine learning algorithm. Okay, try to improve your machine learning algorithm, and you will try to find out, okay, so machine learning algorithm is not performing well on this particular algorithm, machine learning is not learning the algorithm well. So what I can do is I can improve the algorithm, I can change the algorithm or change certain parameters associated with it. So we will study that certain parameters associated with it. For example, if I want to explain through an example changing a parameter, then let me take an example of regression here. Okay, wait a minute. I have to drop this. Okay, are you getting this training, testing, and validation data? Everyone is getting this? Okay. So yes, okay. See, if you are trying to change the parameters, I just said that you will try to do, you will try to improve your model, or you will try to change certain parameters associated with the model. So what happens? I'm taking an example of regression here. I'm taking an example of regression learning algorithm. Okay, regression learning algorithm has an algorithm called linear regression. So what happens in linear regression is, for example, you are given certain features, X features, for example, mileage of a car or number of seats in a car, and you are trying to predict the price of a car. Okay, so what you will do, you will create a regression line that fits the data. Okay, so for example, these are the data points. This is your X, this is your Y, that is a predicted value, and you are trying to create a regression line that fits the data. For example, this is the regression line that I have created. So what is the hypothesis formula? You will understand this well. H of theta is equal to Wx plus B is your hypothesis. This hypothesis is what? Your learning algorithm. You can call it a learning algorithm, which will try to fit your data properly. Fit your data properly means reduce the number of errors. Reduce the errors. Okay. So for example, these are the data points that you have. These are some of the data points that you have. And this is a regression line that I have created for these data points. So if you check, the error here is minimum. Error from the actual value, the predicted value and the actual value is minimum. But if you are taking into consideration this regression line and this regression line, then what will happen? The error will be maximum here. If you check, the error that is created from the predicted and actual is maximum. Similarly, the error is maximum. Okay, is it clear? Are you getting this? So what you will do, you will check this using the validation data set. You will check, okay, is the machine doing well? Is the error less? Okay, error is not less. So what you will do, you will try to change certain parameters associated with the model. So for example, in linear regression, the parameters associated with the model are V and W. Okay, so what you will do, you will update these values. So you will get another regression line, another line. For example, this was your regression line, then the regression line, next regression line could be this, or could be this, or the best one is this. Okay, are you getting this? So this is what you will do with the help of validation data. Is it clear to everyone what you are trying to achieve through validation data? Yes or no? Okay. Is everything is what about others? Is it clear to everyone? Okay, fine. So this was your validation data. So you are dividing your data set into three parts, that is training, testing and validation, and then you will be passing it into your machine learning algorithm. Okay, fine. So now first we'll be talking about classification algorithm, right? Okay, so what is first we'll be talking about what is classification and what is regression. So you know about what is classification and regression. So classification is actually classifying your data into two types or binary. So for example, I'm talking here about binary classification. So in binary classification will be two class classification. Two classes will be given. Okay, two class classification will be binary classification, and multi-class classification can also be there. So presently I'm talking about only two class, but there can be multi-class classification, right? In actual data set will be having more than a high number of data set. So it will be multi-class classification, and regression will be continuous valued output. Okay, continuous valued output. So you are trying, for example, predicting the value of the car, or predicting the temperature. These are all continuous valued outputs. So this will be a part of regression. So first we will be dealing with classification algorithm. So you know already the example. So let us see some of the first we will be dealing with classification algorithm. Okay. I hope that so far whatever I have explained in the classroom, you are clear with it. Yes? Yes, is everyone clear with whatever I'm trying to explain? Okay. So what is a classification problem? Predicting that classification is a supervised learning technique that is used to identify the category of the new observation of the data based on training data. So training data will be the data that you are passing to create a model, right? Such as the classification model will run from the data set or observation and then classifies a new observation into number of classes or groups, such as 0, 1, spam, non-spam, cat or dog. Classes are actually the target labels or categories, right? So the predictive modeling for classification is the task of approximating a mapping function from the input variable to discrete valued output variables, right? So this modeling for classification is actually mapping function that you are creating from input variables. You are creating a mapping function to approximate the input variables to certain output variables. So you have certain data, and you are trying to approximate it to certain labels. Okay, and this mapping function is actually the hypothesis that you will create. For example, in linear regression, what is the hypothesis? You have an hypothesis value which is h of x is equal to wx plus v. That is the hypothesis function that you are trying to create. You are trying to map the input to output, discrete valued output in classification, but in regression you will be mapping to continuous valued output. Okay, is it clear? So in your classification model, there are two types of classification as I explained, which will be binary classification and multi-class. So binary will be a two-class classification and multi-class will have multiple classes. Okay. Then classification is actually a three-step process, as I said: training phase, testing phase, and validation phase. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. Yes, so the classification is a three-step process which will be involve your training process, testing process, as well as validation process. So this is your data that you have, whatever data that you have. So this is your data, and this data will be passed. It will be create from this data you will create a training set, you will create a validation set, and you will create a testing set. So the training set will be helping a model builder. You will help to build a model. Okay, build a model, for example, classification model for you. Okay, this classification model will pass through, this classification model is formed, and then you will use the validation set into the classification model to validate the model. To validate the model means what? You are trying to identify, okay, is this model giving good values, good results? Is this value model giving good results? If it is giving a good result, then you can proceed with the testing part. And if it is not giving a good result, that is predictions are not very good, then you again go to the model builder and again create a model and again try to validate the new model. Okay, you are trying to change the parameters, as I explained with the linear regression example, that how you will be doing that. You will be changing the, in linear regression, what you are doing, you are changing the values of parameters. In order to update the model, you are changing the parameters and you are creating new regression line each time. So this new regression line will be created and it will be checked for validation set. And if it is giving good results, yes, it is giving good results, then you can proceed with the testing part, or you have to again build the model, again change the value of parameters again. Okay, is it clear? Okay, I'm explaining through a regression problem, but I hope you have understood the point. Yes? Is it clear to everyone? Yes? Okay, I should repeat the entire process? Okay. Okay, let me repeat the process here. Okay, see. So what will happen, a classification process will be a three-step process. Okay, it is a, wait a minute. It is a three-step process. As you can see, so you have certain data. For example, in the classification process, you are considering for spam and non-spam. Okay, you are considering this for spam and non-spam. Then what will happen? Your data will contain a certain set of data set, with features x1 to xn with labels. That is, this spam data set or non-spam data set. Okay, so on and so forth, right? And this data will be divided into training set, testing set, and validation set. Okay. So the training set will be used for model creation, model building. You will create a model using this training data set. That is a ground truth. Okay, these are some, what will happen when you pass a training set to the model. It is trying to train the model that these are the features of spam data set and these are the features of non-spam data set. Then this validation set will you will pass a validation set to this model and you will try to check the model performance, that what is the performance of the model on this data set. Okay, for example, you are getting an accuracy below 50%. So so you can check that, okay, the model is not performing well. So what I can do, I can build the model again. So again it will go to build model builder part. Okay, it will create a prediction using the validation set. But if the performance is less, then it will again go to model builder part and will again build the model. So again building the model is changing certain parameters in the model. Okay, changing certain parameters or using another algorithm. For example, in classification you have decision tree, naive Bayes, and you have SVM. So you can use another algorithm and you can create a model again. And what you can do, you can again check for validation set. Okay, whether it is giving good results or not. If it is giving good results, then you can proceed with the testing part. That is, you can test on unknown data. For example, cancer or non-cancer. So we have already created a model in the medical diagnosis. We have already created a model, and what we are doing, as soon as we are going to the hospital, what it is checking, it is checking on certain parameters, and it's trying to predict, okay, classify whether the patient has cancer or whether the patient does not have cancer. Yes, is it clear now? Okay, fine. So I suppose that classification process is clear to everyone. So now what we'll be doing, we'll be studying some of the performance metrics of classification model. Okay. So what is performance metrics? Performance metrics, some of the performance metrics that we have. Let me share. Okay. The performance measures we are trying, it's mainly for identifying that how well your model is performing. Okay. So some of the performance metrics that we have is accuracy, precision, recall, and FN score. And for these, accuracy will be for balanced data. So we have two types of data, balanced and unbalanced data. Imbalanced, you can say imbalanced data. What is balanced data? Balanced data is something that we have is, for example, we have spam and non-spam data. Okay. So balanced data will have 50% of spam data, 50% of non-spam data. Okay. But for example, no, imbalanced data will be something, for example, 90% of spam and 10% of non-spam. This is imbalanced data. Imbalanced data can be seen in medical diagnosis. If you can check that out of 100 patients, only 10 patients might have cancer. Okay. So if we have a large data set of 100 sets under 100 patients, then 90% of the patients will not have cancer and only 10% will have cancer. So this will be imbalanced data set. So here accuracy as a performance matrix will not help. There will be another values related to it, which will be precision, recall, and FN score for imbalanced set. Okay, is it clear to imbalanced and balanced data set? Is this point clear to everyone? Yes. Okay. Okay, so now let us proceed with the performance matrix. That is the first one, accuracy. Okay. So whenever we are dealing with accuracy, we'll be creating a confusion matrix for the data. So for two class classification, okay, for binary classification problem, we'll be creating this kind of confusion matrix. This can also be created for multi-class, but first we'll study for two class classification and later we'll come to multi-class classification problem. Okay, creation of confusion matrix. So what is actual positive, actual negative, predicted, and predicted negative? Actual is ground truth values that we have. Okay, we are doing this on testing data, on test data, test data. So in this data set we'll be having, sorry, in this data set we'll be having the data as well as the labels associated with the data. So this will be actual positive value. Actual positive means, for example, if you are classifying for spam and non-spam, then spam I am considering as positive and non-spam I am considering as negative. Okay, a result. So if actual positive means the data is actually positive and predicted positive, then they are true positive results. And if the data was actually negative but it was predicted as positive, then it is false positive result. Okay. Similarly, if actually the data was of positive result but it was predicted as negative, then they are false negative. And similarly, if they're actually negative and predicted negative, then it is true negative results. Is this clear to everyone? This confusion matrix that has been created out of this? Yes or no? Anybody has having any doubt? Is anyone having any doubt? So true positive or true negatives are the labels that you give. For example, in spam and non-spam, you are giving positive to spam and negative to non-spam. Similarly, if you are doing yes/no based classification, something like whether they will play tennis or does not play tennis, then yes you are giving to positive and no you are giving to negative, and so on. This confusion matrix will be formed. Okay, is it clear to everyone? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So based on this confusion matrix, you will be calculating the accuracy. So from for today's lecture, we'll keep up to accuracy, and then next lecture onwards, we'll study about the other confusion matrix or other performance matrix so far. So based on this, you will calculate the accuracy of the model. So accuracy is actually simply the ratio of total number of correctly classified points to ratio between the total number of correctly classified points to the total number of points. So in confusion matrix, as we have seen, so we have true positive, false positive, false negative, and true negative. So the total number of points is this. For example, 300 instances will be this, and upon true positive and true negative, so this will be the accuracy, how much is being how much of the data is actually predicted correctly. So it is predicted correctly means what? That the data was actually negative and it was predicted as negative, and data was actually positive and it was predicted as positive. Predicted correctly how much is there, that is your accuracy calculation. Okay. Then we have performance, precision and recall, which are better to evaluate for imbalanced class classification. For balanced, we will use accuracy as a measure. Okay. For imbalanced, we'll mostly use precision and recall to estimate the performance of the model. So I'm right now I'll be giving you an example. From that example, you have to create a confusion matrix and let me know what is the confusion matrix that you are creating through that example. Okay. Wait a minute, I'll be sharing the example in a while. I hope this accuracy part is clear. So, okay. So this is your example here. So everybody try to create a confusion matrix out of this example, from this example, everyone. Okay, give me the values of these. Okay. Uh, okay, one of the students, Shell, I think, has given 20, 60, 10, and 210. Anybody else? Okay, yes, Janil. Good. Mihir, fine. Okay. Well, I suppose that okay, yes, some of you have given correct answers. So see, you are given, now I'll explain this problem. So you are given total 300 instances are given to you, and out of which 30% patients actually have cancer. So we know that 30 patients actually have cancer. So I'm considering cancer as a positive class and non-cancer as a negative class. Okay, fine. So 30 patients actually have cancer, and the system predicts cancer in 90 cases. So 90 cases are predicted as positive, and out of which 20 predictions are correct. Means 20 predictions are correct means what? We know that 30 patients have cancer, and 20 actually are predicted as cancer. So we have two positive value as 20, right? Is it clear? So actually our had cancer and were predicted as cancer are 20 patients, but we know that 30 patients actually had cancer. So means 10 patients were predicted as sorry, I by mistake. So we know that, so means 10 patients were actually predicted as not having cancers even then, even though they had cancer. So false negative value is 10. Now 90 patients were predicted as cancer, 20 were actually had cancer and were predicted as cancer, means 70 were false positive, and rest of the patients were predicted as non-cancerous patients. So 200 is a true negative value, right? So total of patients that were predicted as cancer was 90, and total out of 300 instances, if 90 patients were predicted as cancer, means rest of the patients were predicted as non-cancerous, means 210 instances were predicted as non-cancerous data. Okay, is it clear? Is this confusion matrix clear to everyone? Yes or no? Is this confusion matrix clear? Shail, I think now is it clear now? Yes. Okay. Okay, I suppose that everyone is clear with this. So in next lecture onwards, what we'll do, we'll solve certain sums related to this, and then we'll proceed with the other confusion, that other performance matrix that we have in classification algorithm. That also we'll study, and then after that we'll proceed with linear regression. That is the first algorithm, machine learning algorithm for regression, in the regression part that we'll study. Okay, I suppose that everyone has filled the form, attendance form, uh, that I have shared. I suppose that everyone filled the form. Yes. Yes. Okay. So okay. All right. So your attendance will be calculated like this. So for I'll be sharing a form in each classroom. So you have to fill your roll numbers in that. Okay. So you have filled using regular email ID. Fine. Not an issue. But you have mentioned your number, right? You have mentioned your number. Okay, not an issue. Filled twice, but those of you, but you have mentioned your number. That is fine. You just have to mention your number. Okay. If you have mentioned your number, then it is not a problem. Okay. Fine. So now I'll end this meeting. So we'll meet in next lecture. Fine. Okay. Thank you and have a nice day.